Mhm. We were talking very shortly before the now about what was going on, right? About my
Gosh,
experience,
right.
not the nerd part. And yeah, that was uh I would never I have sat on this for years, and
Yeah.
I think you can see why, right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, beginning. Why not?
Yeah. And now if it was a clear cut, they came to me and abducted me, that would have been different than this. It wasn't. It wasn't like that. You
No,
know?
it's
It
different
was,
entirely.
yeah, I was they knew me and somehow I knew them. And I don't know. I don't ever recall anything like that.
I I have a question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
Were you still in the service when that happened?
No, this was way after that. I had already gotten out, been in
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, and moved back. This is when I moved back to El Paso.
Right. Okay.
Um, I don't remember. It was about maybe a year after. Hey, Aussie, maybe a year after I
I
got back.
see.
I don't remember. Maybe two. I don't even. It's so long ago, and so
Were
much
you
has
married?
happened.
Were
Yeah,
you married by then?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think we were together. I don't know if we were had signed any papers yet.
Rachel Renee, hello.
Hey, Renee and Obi2, welcome back to the Quantum Show, Quantum Panel Time. We're discussing this, and I
Yeah.
have not gotten I have told one person about this experience, and that is all in that long a time. And this is it. This is the I don't know the this is a big experience. This
Yeah.
is right next to the cemetery experience. Okay, as far as weirdness, here's the cemetery experience. Here's the the encounter. I don't know what to say. Oh, did I give it a name? My visitation.
Uh,
That's what I gave it. My visitation. But like this was not the weirdest thing that ever happened to me, but it's up there, right? And since I was like thinking this is a personal experience type relatable show, I that's what I want people to get from here, and I'm not gonna make stuff up. I mean, I don't need to make nothing up. Aussie is saying, "Don't forget to like and subscribe." Thank you,
of
Aussie.
course. We when we experience something like this and sit on it like you have, there's things that I've sat on for decades and probably never will unload. Okay.
Yeah,
But the the toll it takes on the heart is not good. The toll it takes on your relationships is not good.
yeah,
And unloading it, even in a format like this one, just getting it off your chest and getting on with it, it's incredibly freeing. You know,
yeah. In a way, you're absolute. First of all, you're absolutely right to be able to be myself, be my authentic self. And in another way, I am expecting a lot of repercussions for this, right? This is me coming out with the craziest of all stories that people can actually kind of relate to. The craziest of all stories, and I'm expecting a lot of blowback. I really am. But you know what? I don't even care. Like I said, I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway.
I have
This is where
water.
I'm at.
Thank you.
And Rachel, Obi2 is saying, I feel like I may have had a past life as a gray. Maybe, possibly. I am still trying to figure out somebody to do regressions. And the moment I say alien abduction, they hang up the phone, block my email, whatever. Nobody wants to touch it.
Like, I think I might know one person who might be able to do this. And I've been out of touch with her for a very long time.
Hmm.
Um, and she was somebody who I knew quite well on Hazy, and she was a hypnotherapist. She
Hmm.
had she had her own problems, so she had a what in the heck?
Oh, it's just Pinky Leader. Hey, Pinky. What up, Pinky?
Okay,
He's decoding my thoughts.
okay.
It's not spam.
Are
It's
we
fun.
sure
It's
it's
not
not
spam.
his thoughts?
It's not spam.
Anyway,
I don't know. Maybe.
or her, whomever, you know. All right, as long as you're cool with it, Storm's
It's
okay
oh
with
yeah.
it.
That's the
Storm's
fun
there,
stuff. That's okay.
yeah. But where was I?
You know
Um,
someone you haven't been in touch for a long time.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Her name is Elizabeth Rose, and quite popular on some of the other radio shows. I don't know if she's even involved in anything anymore, but I think what, darling?
I have her phone number.
Yeah, Storm still has her phone number. I can get in contact with her if you like.
Yes, please do.
Yeah,
And
she's very she's not going to put anything in your mouth. She's
okay,
just not.
right. No pushed in thoughts.
No,
Um,
that's not her style.
and well, definitely give her a call if she's still up to it. I will make my way out there somehow because I don't like to
Well,
do this stuff online. I like
the
to do
last I heard from her, she was in Florida,
mm,
so that's
I
closer
like
to you than here is
I
even.
like Florida. I have many reasons to go to Florida.
I think she's on the northern border of Florida, and
Excellent.
that's entirely dependent on whether she still has her number or if she's still where she was. I'll
Okay.
call her, I'll ask her, you
Okay.
know, and if she feels like getting involved again, I'm sorry, she's in Arizona now. She was in
Arizona.
Florida.
I want I
So,
want to go to Arizona. I got reasons to
well,
go to that neighborhood. Of course, y'all are over there, but
we're a little piece from Arizona. We're
right,
like in the middle of southern New Mexico.
right, we all are a big piece from Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I can, like I said, I will make my way out there somehow because I can't find anybody to do this. I
Yeah.
mentioned this topic and they're like, click, block,
Oh
no,
hell
go away.
no, not me. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I'm like, call me when you want to quit smoking. I'm like, thanks. Or
Yeah,
better yet,
yeah,
don't beep, block.
yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine? Oh, you want to stop smoking, and suddenly you're there again, and oh no, thanks. Not doing it.
Not you. We're closed. Goodbye. Call the police. This guy, he's back.
Yeah, we're just as far from Tucson as we are from Albuquerque, so that's really not too awful a drive. It's about 2.5 hours from here.
Oh yeah, I just not too long ago I did Houston 12 hours.
Oh yeah, I used to be used to 24-hour days. I'm not anymore.
Yeah, no, me neither. I don't want to do that again. But you know what? I had a thought. I'll do it again. Going to Houston, I'll do it again, and I will because I got just that much Gen X. Don't give a damn about that. You know.
Yeah, hell with that. I got things to do. I've heard that around here more often than I care to.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely get me in touch, and I will somehow make it to Arizona because I got there. It's all UFOs over there. I love it. I want to be there.
That trip from Cruces to Tucson or even Tombstone uh, is just loaded with UFO. Just
All
loaded with it.
yep, all from all I can from El Paso, I can vouch for El Paso
Oh
having this
yeah.
stuff. From El
Oh
Paso
yeah.
all the way up to probably Washington State. Just
Well, it's an
nothing but
odd day when we don't see something just on a regular day trip.
yeah.
I'm talking
You're
night,
right.
folks. We're talking during the day. So, but of course, it's weird. It's like we know what we're looking for. Know exactly what we're looking for.
Right. Maybe we're I don't know. See, that brings up the
I'm not
question of
sure what Edgar's implying, but I am not a politician, never
no,
will
I'm not.
be.
I don't
And I
want to
don't
go to
know
the White
about
House
you.
either. The only way I'm going to go to the White House is if
That,
I'm fixing a wall outlet.
yeah, seriously. No, no, no. I'm not going to the White House. It's full of politics, you know. You know what politics are, right? Poly is Greek for many, ticks, little blood sucking creatures.
Yeah.
That's my opinion of politics, folks. Take it or leave it.
Yeah,
And
and
Edgar is looking for pancakes.
yeah, and just as a disclaimer, I will not be discussing presidential anything here. I
Not with
may go
me.
discuss it other places with other people. I might do that, but I'm not bringing any of that here. Okay, that is for
Yeah,
other channels.
that just has nothing to do with anything we do here.
Right,
Nothing.
and I am so much more about pancakes than I am politics. Okay, Keith is walking in the door.
That's the only flying saucer I'm interested in right now. And you throw a pancake at me, I'm throwing it back.
Hey, Keith, thanks for coming to the panel.
Not a problem. Why are we having a food fight?
Edgar keeps throwing pancakes at me.
And is urging us to
It's
go to the
his
White
fault.
House, and I'm like, I'm so more interested in
No.
pancakes than I am politics.
So who, pray tell, is Edgar?
He's
Edgar Signs.
a friend in the chat room.
Yes.
Oh,
He's in
okay.
the chat room.
Now you got your 5 seconds of fame there, Edgar.
Yeah, he's the Prince of Pancakes. And Pinky is saying, just because it came in at the same time, right? There is a weird thing with UFO tracking humans. They seem to read your mind when they lock onto you, even in their ships. I don't know about that right now, right? Yeah, there seems to be something going on with that, but I don't.
I didn't feel like that.
Yeah, I don't know there, but Pinky has. It's not really relevant right now. We could talk about that another time, but yeah. Anyway, Keith, welcome back. Thanks for coming back on.
No problem. Don't know how long I'll manage it because, well, my schedule being what it is.
Understood.
I didn't actually, in all fairness, I didn't hear the entirety of the thing because family issues got in the way. And as we all know, family comes first for me.
Understandable. Totally. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like
Here too.
yeah, no problem. If there are any questions, I'll do my best to answer civilly. You know.
Fortunately, I got pretty much the amount I did get. I have never, as far as I recall backwards, I've never required all the information to get the answers.
Right.
I got enough of the picture to know what happened.
Right. And it seems like that's our way. A lot of people, we only need a piece of it and we can just get the rest.
Up.
Yeah, I don't understand how that. Yeah, I don't understand how that works, but it works.
Well, let me ask you this: did you actually desire to understand how it works?
Yeah. No. At least I don't. See, that's a really good question because it is so ego driven for me to say that. No, I never asked. But then I got books on like Akashic records and divination and all this stuff. But I'm off the top of my head, my ego is getting so in the way of answering that.
I'm like, this is why I don't do research, as in read other people's books.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I haven't looked haven't taken any of that stuff to heart because it just doesn't feel right. And it seems like I have my own methods because of the events mentioned in the first hour. Apparently, I'm in contact or was regularly at least
Oh,
more than
you'd
that.
have to be for that kind of reaction. Hi, Renee. You'd have to be in regular contact in order to, in order to have that comfort level. Yeah, that's the easy part.
Yeah, but I don't have any other recollections of knowing these people. And
Don't take this the wrong way, but that's the part that's irrelevant.
yeah, it is irrelevant. The only thing, and here's me, the here and now, and back then actually is like, wow, I must know these guys. I'm totally comfortable. There's nothing different about this. This is normal stuff. And yeah, I don't know if you heard, but I'm expecting repercussions from that topic from a bunch of different
Well,
places. And because when you bring up anything about sexuality, it's just jumped on like jackals from every community.
you
So
know what, though? Your own community embraced it and said, yeah, tell it all. It's all good.
yeah,
You
Think of
know,
it this way.
and that's a really good sign that nobody else is going to worry about it.
say again, Keith. I'm sorry.
I said that's the important factor. If the people here are just going whatever,
Yeah,
the problem is humans have been saying, especially Western humans, have been taught to fear sexuality. And it's
yeah,
been turned into a negative way, an absolute schmozzle.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm expecting because I've never talked about this in public. This is the first time ever I've talked about this, and I don't know if anyone was expecting any of this tonight.
Well, it's a surprise.
Yeah, it just something said it's time. Something inside me went, it's time. Let's just let it out. And I was just chomping at the bit to tell somebody. I have told one person.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to tell somebody, you might as well tell everybody at the same time and get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for whatever repercussions. Of course, it just happened, so who knows?
Nathan, you're late enough on YouTube on the East Coast, and the West Coast is so loaded for bear with other things. I don't think you got a problem. I really don't.
I do have viewers. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe next week.
Right.
We'll see. You know what? I'm looking forward to it. Bring on all the repercussions. I want to hear about it. I want to deal with it because this is authentic. This is me being authentic. I'm not gonna.
See, to be honest with you, I didn't hear most of the show, and you don't have to go back over it.
I think
Okay, I'm not gonna.
Mark Twain said I think it was Mark Twain said all publicity is good publicity.
Right. So if anybody wants,
Okay.
right. So if anybody wants to come at me, bro, come at me, bro. I will engage.
See, my usual response most of the time, unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago wasn't part of the most. Most of the time, somebody will say something, and I'll look at them and go, "And I care why."
Yeah.
And we this particular show has done very well for itself. We've had our moments. We've had several of them, and we managed to make our way through it all the same. And the sex word, if you want to put it that way, the S word, we're all human beings. For most of us, all adults. And if you're not an adult, scat on out of here because you'll belong here. But it's more about about things that are hidden here, and sexuality is one of those things.
Yeah.
Particularly in the United States.
Yeah. So I'm expecting my ufology people to approach me, but I don't know if they will or won't because I don't know. This might be a lame story for them. Like, he's just
Maybe.
trying to be a grifter.
Well,
No.
that's why I made the comment. Like I was talking to Kira at the same time, and like I told her, people's eyes don't lie, and neither do their faces.
It's true.
Yeah.
And
I
your
wasn't.
face wasn't lying.
No.
And I'm a psychic. Good luck with lying to me.
Yeah. Lying gets me nothing.
I got no problem lying to you, Lynn. I can lie. Yeah, I just look at you. I'm going to lie to you.
Yeah, I just don't know. You said I'm fine. I'm really fine. It's like, no, you're not. What the hell's going on?
You got to remember the definition of fine.
Fouled up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Just
or needy,
fine.
depending.
That was coined by Storm, incidentally. So if anybody wants to know, although Storm tends to use a little more graphic terms.
Storm's a decade older than I am, give or take. And I actually heard that from my grandfather.
Actually, I'm older than Storm. I'm 10 years older. And Storm is the same age you are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got word from another contact of mine, another friend of mine, that she told us how old she is. And I'm like, that is not functionally possible because she does not look like or feel like it.
Yeah.
Some people hold their age really well, but no. The reality is that when you're looking at what I did see with that show, right? The reality is, I'm finding out, and I was looking at it going, it's information. Like I've got so much information, I can explain most of it now. But the thing that throws me now, the little ones are easy. They're youngsters. It's that simple. But I have not yet, and it doesn't mean they don't exist, but I have yet to see a gray over 5 feet tall.
Okay, well, that hasn't. I haven't either. This guy was a little over. I want to say a little over 4 feet tall. The one that was like guiding me.
I think you were talking more about the hybrid individuals that you had encountered.
Yeah, and see, I am saying hybrid. I was told in impressions in my head, these are half. They're half, and I'm saying hybrid. They didn't say that. They said they are half, like dumbing it way down for me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because see, here's the thing: a gray is not metabolically capable of creating a hybrid or a half-breed with a human.
Okay.
It'd be like somebody, and we have to go the route of bestiality. It'd be like you getting together with an animal and trying to produce an offspring.
Right. Not without like lab growing things and doing things.
Exactly the term hybridization.
Right. So I said that word.
Yeah.
That person said they are half. Simple.
And from their standpoint, they would be.
Right. And maybe I don't know. And another interpretation is they are dumbing it down for me because maybe I don't understand their context. Or I don't know. See, that's more information I don't have. And what I was told, kind of etherically speaking, they are half. He didn't say hybrid. He didn't say.
And they didn't say half of what either. You know,
he said
they have sort of a human countenance and everything, but they had a very different type of skin structure, and you said hairless,
Yeah, I
and
don't
it alludes to half a grape. It isn't necessarily so.
half of what? Yeah, exactly. I don't know what half. And they just said they are half. Did they mean they are half human? Maybe. They
Well, if they kind of looked human, they might have been.
Yeah, they were functionally humanoids, 2 arms, 2 legs, head, more or less symmetrical.
Appropriate accoutrement.
Right. But they went
Okay.
from 2 feet. I do remember they were really small, but they were all like we were all lounging around at the moment, you know.
If you were lounging around, they'd have put you there to simply help you relax, but that would only happen if you had a number of encounters prior, not if you remembered a number of encounters.
Yeah. And it seemed like this was a familiar environment and a familiar situation. So I could and at the time, it wasn't there were no oh my god moments, like freak out moment, nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was like I go into the kitchen and make myself a cup of coffee and the coffee maker turned off. That's the only detail. But I turn it back on, it's hot, I make a cup of coffee. It was like that. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Everything was normal. I was like, "What?"
Not to interrupt you, but I have Elizabeth Rose on the line. Can you
Oh,
hang on a second?
yes,
And
yes.
I'll see
It's
about
operator,
this, okay?
Okay, okay. You know, I didn't mean to call her now. It's late at night.
Lynn wants to talk. Hang on a sec. Wants to give it.
Lynn, I'm gonna mute her for a minute.
Rose, hi.
I'm gonna mute Lynn
Yeah.
for this conversation. We're not invited, right? This is
Yeah, definitely.
that's like a surprise. What do they call that? Uh, some kind of attack interview. I'm not gonna do that until when she hangs up the phone. That's when I'll turn the mic back on.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, the reality of it from my standpoint is pretty simple. You know, I take a look at it, like it just shocks me on occasion. Somebody will say something and I'm like, there's the answer. You know.
Right. Well, I don't have that. If I knew the answer, I would.
Anyhow, he has
Okay, sorry to disturb you there, Nathan.
Yeah, I don't.
like to have.
I've talked with my friend.
And you are the only.
She is in Florida, and she is willing to do this for you.
Okay. Well,
I will give you her phone number off stream.
Okay.
And you can call and make the arrangements.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I just didn't. I don't want to put her on having a private conversation.
No, it's no. She's in Florida, so
Right,
she's
well,
actually she's closer.
Okay.
So
well, I don't. That's cool, but Lynn is on the phone having a private conversation. I don't want it put on the air.
Yeah. No. So I'm going to go ahead and mute it again. I just want to let you know.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we're gonna have we're gonna do this. I don't know when, but we're gonna do this.
This is not regression you were looking for.
This is the what'd I say? What'd you say? The
regression.
Regression, yeah. I drank 2 cups of coffee in quick succession, so I'm a little right now while I'm doing water.
Well, all you gotta do is pop me, is wet your fingers, stick it in the light socket, it'll straighten you right out.
Lynn is back. Or no.
Let me make sure.
Back. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've been threatening to do this for a while. Elizabeth Rose would be tickled to pieces to talk with you. And she lives now in Florida. I picked that up out of nowhere. How about that?
That's That's cool. Did pick it up out of nowhere.
Yes,
It
and
was
she was delighted to hear from me, and I will talk to her tomorrow about it, see what the particulars are. But if you are willing to make a road trip, she can't drive anymore.
understand. I am willing, and I just rebuilt a whole car, ready to do it again.
Awesome. I'm so tickled because she is such a darling. You'll love her.
What part of Florida? Just
I don't have anything. I made that quick.
okay, okay, no
I
problem.
think it's coastal.
I doubt very much it's coastal. I think it is. I think it is towards the border. That's where I see her.
Okay. Well, we'll get the particulars later. This is to be determined. It'll be a little while before I do this, but I
course.
will be recording it with her permission. Okay, here's the deal.
I don't think Rosa have any problems doing it like that.
Okay, I obey people's limits and how they do things. If they say, like, I had to cancel a show one night because I couldn't get permission to investigate. I was live when I got canceled.
Okay.
No permission. That's it. That's it. And this
Yeah.
was years ago, but I got canceled at the very beginning of, hey everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show. We're canceled. I was like,
Oh shit. I mean,
yeah.
sorry, shucks.
What do? You can't get permission.
I
You
don't
can't get
know.
permission. It's like, I could be sued, and that ain't gonna happen. But
I'm really jazzed about talking to her. I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, and it's old home week.
yeah. Well, I was kind of worried about. Oh my god, it's late. You call somebody this late at night. Oh my god, it's like a crank call. Like, hello, it's
Right.
alien soup.
Oh,
What?
no,
Oh my
Storm.
God,
I wasn't going to call her till tomorrow, and Storm said, "No, I'm calling her now."
okay.
She was thrilled to death to talk to me, though, and I know when somebody said, "Yeah," and know.
Yeah. Well, that is going to be an interesting show, and it's
I
going to
think
be a
it will.
pre-record. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will
I
happen.
think it'd be fabulous, but I would definitely look at it myself before I aired it.
Oh
There
yeah,
may
for
be
sure.
things there that you do not want to share.
Right. I will definitely be editing and doing some quick summaries because I ain't putting everything out there, but this is cool. I'm going to do a regression. And I don't have to go across the United States. It's Florida.
Well, how far? Where are you?
I am approximately maybe 6 hours. Well, I'm 8 hours. How far? Maybe 8 or 9 out 10 hours from Miami. So if she's anywhere above Miami, I'm closer than that. I'm in Tennessee, so
I'm fairly close. I'm fairly sure that she is not in southern Florida.
okay.
I'm
Because
thinking she's closer to you.
yeah, we went to Fort Myers and then up to Miami, and we started at Fort Myers. And Fort Myers is south. It's very south.
Oh
And
yeah.
I didn't see anything in the skies. I was right there on the coast. I was watching, but I didn't see nothing that time. Just not for me. And it seems like my particular path in the paranormal and the metaphysical guides me not to the ufology stuff. That I just like it myself. I like it. But the experiences have all been supernatural in the way of spiritual and psychic.
Right.
It just seems to be that way. I want contact, and maybe he was like, when I called out to that guy, the click clock that time, he was like, Why is a ghost guy calling me? I don't know why.
Because
It
he
was just
wants to take the call in the bar, guys. It's a prank caller from Earth.
the ghost guy from Earth is calling me. Why? He was like, I'm not used to this kind of customer service.
Well,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I think once you've gotten to know Elizabeth, Elizabeth is a very unusual individual. She's a terrific interview, and she's quite knowledgeable in her field, and her field is hypnosis, the paranormal, you know. And I don't even know if she does radio anymore, but I think she'd be tickled to death to get her fingers in this.
Well, I hope so. I'll ask her. I will get any permission I need and edit the show as necessary. And you know what? I might put an unedited version up on Rumble. Don't know. Depends on what comes up. I don't
Yeah,
know what's going to come up.
yeah.
I don't know.
You want to guard your privacy somewhat, but and
Yeah.
hers too, for that matter. But
Right.
I knew Elizabeth back in the hazy days, and I knew Elizabeth for about well, shucks, I've known her ever since. And that's been about 15 years now.
Mm.
So almost as long as I've known Keith. It's been quite the experience.
Oh yeah, it's been different. It was funny because I ended up like one of the first shows I ended up on. I actually got railroaded into it, and that was on with Chuck
Stansberg.
Chuck Stansberg. I got sort of railroaded onto that one.
Chuck was a darling. He really was, and
Fantastic,
I think he has. I know that he was quite ill.
Yeah.
And he didn't take our story at face value at all. He researched what was available in the area at the same time.
Yeah.
And at the time that Storm and I were taken, there was a UFO spotted going hellbent for Hades towards Trans Mountain Road. And that is the one that picked us up. I'm sure of that. So they had target lock. It was on somebody, and I think it's probably on us. What's weird about that situation is that night, Storm and I had or that afternoon, I should say, had gone to the Universalist Church for a pagan tea, which is basically a reading event, doing tarot reading, and we were on that day. We were shining.
Mm.
And yeah, the two of us were doing readings like nobody's business, and they were accurate. Oh my God, they were accurate. And so much so that people were running out, grabbing other people, and saying, "You gotta talk to these two. They are something else." And we made a lot of money for the Universalist Church that day, and I was very pleased with that. But and that's tooting our horn a little bit, but what the hell, But the two of us were shining like a beacon, and I'm wondering if that wasn't part of the reason we were picked up.
Oh, well, let's clarify that. Yes.
Okay. I'm on.
Oh,
well, that was clarification.
Keith.
I'm sorry. I didn't quite catch what you said.
The clarification was yes, that was half the reason you were picked up.
Okay.
Keith, when I first heard you talking this topic on Spaced Out Radio before we had made contact with each other, I took what you said to heart. So I started doing the uh, meditation, calling out, and you had said, I don't know word for word, right? But you had said something like, they'll show up to see what the ruckus is all about. And that's what I was trying to do. And I was doing that in El Paso and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And apparently, well, we talked about it more after I made contact with you. And it was, I didn't know who I was talking to. I didn't know who I was asking. And it was like, well, I didn't never get an answer until I figured out. I took what you said that you don't know who you're trying to call. So it, to me, that translated into, well, I don't have an exact phone number. So I don't know who I'm calling. I'm just hitting random buttons and hoping for an answer. And I don't even know how to make a call yet. So I used reference in your book and our talks, Click Clock. And that's how I was able to get into contact. Or at least that's how I figured how I figured it worked. And
ultimately, it boils down to that. You got to remember the people that are, if you will, handling the switchboard, they know what the image is you're looking for.
Right. And I had no image. I had no image. I had just, can anybody hear me? And well, apparently they can, and they judge me as a crank call. So they just say, well, he don't need to be connected to anybody. He doesn't know what he's doing. So, but then I did get a specific thing going, and they, it was amazing. That's up there weirdness too, but not as weird as those other two things, right?
Yeah.
My visitation and the cemetery.
Cemeteries can be a lot of fun, just don't sleep in them.
No. These guys do not like visitors like that. Not
I guess not.
And I did say I did some research on the cemetery back there. Just documentation, historical research.
Yeah, I caught the three guys, the three soldiers.
There are 3 soldiers back there. 1 revolution, 2 Civil War. I don't know the history of the Civil War times here, but revolution, huh?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
But no, I know a little bit about the Revolutionary War time, but nothing of the Civil War involvement. I would like to know more. Oh, sorry. That was my whole thought. Go ahead.
Do you suppose, and I wouldn't have a clue how you would begin to find out, because record keeping at that time, I wonder if some of the folk back in there, particularly back in your slaves' corner, weren't involved in the Civil War as well. Many of them were.
Yeah.
And they were also involved in Revolutionary War.
Yes.
Talk to the people in the museum is your first starting point.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. When I go looking, I have to be very nice to these people because they're still here. I don't mean ghosts. I mean descendants. They're still here. They know at least part of it. And they don't, and no one wants to acknowledge the slavery aspect of it. And they try to like, oh, well, that wasn't, we don't talk about that. Well,
maybe you're hitting it the wrong direction. Maybe you should be going directly to the Black community, particularly the older Black community, and saying, "Listen, I'm doing some research, and I'd be very appreciative of hearing if you have any ancestors in that cemetery, if you'd even know."
You know, I do remember the local news channel did a piece on this cemetery and this area, and there were some descendants, African American descendants, Black descendants, come and do some kind of documentation. I don't know what, but that's if
Yeah.
I look into it, because it's kind of a hornet's nest in this area. Let me tell you,
I'll
that's something
bet.
they don't really like to talk about that topic. They'd
You
rather
know,
talk about aliens.
oh God, that's really taboo over there. What I would suggest is find that piece first. Find out who was involved in it, and then
Yeah,
work your way out from there.
yeah. I had started to a couple of years ago, but I don't know why I stopped. I guess I just got busy. I guess COVID hit. That's why the pandemic
Yeah,
hit,
nobody was out and
and I
about
couldn't,
at all.
I couldn't get in touch with anybody. And they do all that scary stuff around here, the scary thinking around here.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, closed mind will never open up.
yeah,
Not unless something cathartic opens it.
right.
So, it's a concept. It's a starting place, I guess.
Yeah, there is information online. Like there's a Facebook group. There is a historical monument here, so I can start there and then go to it was local CBS did it. So here that's Channel 5, right? Channel 5 did it, and I can go there. I do remember, but again, the pandemic was in full swing. They were a little bit busy. So,
Yeah, a
yeah,
little bit. That's the understatement of the year.
when I was reaching out to them, they had better things to do than something happened 150, 200 years ago. Mm,
Well, at this point, I would call their archive. Whoever hangs on that, and say, I'm looking for this particular bit.
right.
Because I'm doing some research. Do you think you could look that up for me and could I get a copy?
Yeah.
Start there.
Give them their 20, $30 for running Xerox copies or email or whatever. Sure, I'll do it.
It may not cost you anything since you're doing research.
Yeah. It's yeah, they probably will. I mean, because I'm just interested at this point because of my experience. I can't talk to the family and say I was out there at 3 a.m. and I had some ghosts come up. I can't tell them
Yeah,
that.
you'd find yourself out in the street with a boot up your fanny so
Well,
I
fast.
You
can't.
could go and do that. It would be fun to watch.
Oh,
I gotta
that,
give you that. Make sure you sell tickets.
yeah, I
You
know.
know?
Right? Like and subscribe. Watch me get evicted.
Oh, oh my God, that sounds
Quantum
hilarious.
skill goes viral. Oh my god.
We'll do shorts on it. Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, you're gonna end up living in his topaz. Yeah, I'm not gonna. There are angles to take, but
Yeah, there's
uh,
subtleties.
yeah, and that is right on line with like I don't know what's gonna happen because of the first hour. People may be coming up to me. I'm halfway expecting people to never want to talk to me again because of this. I'm like, you are too crazy for me. You know me this long, and now you're coming to that conclusion. I mean,
Nathan, if this ruins a friendship for you, you've done well.
yeah,
And
I
it
think
really was a friendship at that point.
I would be better off without those people. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, this is literally the leading edge right here, and I don't know what's going to happen coming
Well,
up.
the fact I came back on says you didn't kick me off.
Yeah. Well, I was really hoping you would come back on because last week didn't go as planned. I had no
Not for any
plan.
of us.
Well, there has been a massive shift that I was not expecting. Something showed up in my possession that went missing about 7 years ago. I used to have two crystals in mine. I showed them on my stream the other day.
I
But
remember.
since then, my hand hasn't shaken at all, and my emotional stability is a hell of a sight more solid.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Me too.
Truly, truly happy.
The reality is, I came to the conclusion there are certain things that, like, what I didn't realize was how much information I'm actually holding here. I mean, people have told me I know way more than what I'm telling them, and I'm like, I just tell you what comes up. But it turns out somebody opens their mouth and I can answer what's going on. How? I know how I'm doing it. How to explain it could be a little bit more of a complication. But the reality is, I'm looking at stuff going, well, this fits together. Like, it was actually a little before the crystal showed up. I figured out something very important: black-eyed children, and the shadow people, the watchers, right? They're the same race. The black-eyed children are the children of the shadow men.
Oh, wow.
The shadow men that you always see, one and the people always talk about, I saw one of these shadow guys.
Yeah.
The black-eyed children, they keep showing up in people's houses. They're watchers that haven't figured out what the boundaries are. They're kids.
Okay.
How interesting.
That was my thought.
That's entirely different, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't what I was originally expecting.
When you see stuff that when you're doing an interview with somebody, and when I say an interview, I mean like you're doing a reading or a consultation, do you hear the words or do you see the picture?
That depends. If I tell somebody I'm being told such and such, I'm literally being told such and such.
Right.
I mean, when I did the reading I was dealing with finances with a client one day, and all of a sudden I get this guy in a blazing orange blazer, just brilliant. And he's pounding his hand. He brings his knee up and he pounds his hand on his knee, points at the person, and he goes, "Gotcha." And this is going on throughout the reading. I finally got fed up with it. I looked at the woman and I says, "I don't get this, but I've got to tell you, I got this guy doing this thing." And she busts out laughing. I said, "What's so funny?" She goes, "My Uncle Bob just died 2 weeks ago. Every time he was a practical joker, every time he did that, he'd hammer on his knee, he'd point his finger at you and go, 'Gotcha.' As soon as he did that, as soon as we identified, he was gone."
Yeah, he just wasn't acknowledged.
All right then.
But that happens. That happens so much. It's like when you're telling your story and I'm listening to you and I'm really concentrating on what you're saying, I don't hear your words. I see what you're seeing.
Yeah. Hold that thought.
Yeah. Okay. Right this minute, I gotta hold it this whole long way. Oh my God. I don't know if I can keep a thought that long.
The only similar thing recently that I'll wait till Keith gets back though, because this is I've talked about it before. It's when I went to Strange Realities conference.
Uh-huh.
It was an interesting thing. This was a while back around November, Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
And so it's been a while. And I had the show. I called the guy Chaos Magic User, and people didn't understand what I meant. I came across the wrong way. It wasn't chaos bad. It was chaos.
Neutral.
No specific. No specific method.
Ah.
It was. What actually Joe said it was a I say non-denominational. He says open whatever. Anyway,
Open. Oh, okay. He takes something from everything.
Right.
Yeah,
Eclectic.
eclectic. There you
He
go.
said an eclectic user, and I put it as chaos magic, but I don't think of it as chaos bad. I think of
Yeah,
chaos as no particular set of rules. That's just
yeah, yeah. It's like um you might take a little of the Buddhist religion, you might take a little bit of the Wicca, a
right.
little bit of Scientology maybe,
Right, and that's what he
so
was
on and
doing.
so forth, and just mix it up and make it your own. And
Yeah.
that's very chaotic, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's
No,
just
it's just
chaotic.
no one set of rules to bound you.
Yeah.
Um,
Or to bind you, to
right,
keep you from doing the wrong thing at the wrong time.
right. Well, looking back, Keith, I brought this up on my show a while back. It happened last year, November, Christmas time, and I went to Strange Realities conference. Now that I'm looking back, this is when I got that tarot card reading, the funny tarot card reading that they were doing all around, and my I got the Hierophant and Seven of Swords reversed. Do y'all
Okay.
remember that one? And it was
Personally,
apparently
no, but
okay. Well, Lynn, that was for Lynn because I remember she deciphered it for me,
I do remember.
and it was and looking back at it, and that taking that event and with all the other events, hindsight's 2020. I don't think that was about any current event in my life. I think that was about because nothing at that conference went well. Okay.
It went weird. Yeah.
It didn't work out for me. It worked out, seemed to be working out for everybody else, but it wasn't working out for me because I wanted coffee. They had a coffee maker, but no one was. I ended up making coffee for the group of this thing that I paid $150 to go to. I shouldn't end up making the coffee, but I ended up making the coffee. I ended up okay. They said and I tried to talk to people, and it just the conversations. One conversation went really great, Kiki, and I'll have to link her in here. Okay, I'll just take a note to Kiki Dombrowski. I think it. Yeah, I talked to her,
Yeah.
and oh, I just remembered that name.
Yeah, I remember that was about the only thing that went truly well for you at that conference.
Yeah,
You were
and
unhappy with it.
yeah, I was. The food was like this is not nice, and it took too long, and it was uncomfortable. They seemed to be okay, and the whole vibe was you're in the right neighborhood, but you're at the wrong house. You know what I mean? It was like that, and that's what I think that reading was about now because everybody there, they except for Kiki and one other person, they were all fans of the topic. They weren't really doing it, they were fans of the topic, and
So it's like a doctor opinion. Everybody show hands if cholesterol medication works.
right kind of stuff, and
Yeah, it don't.
these they were
I
muggles.
didn't say that.
For for us, we call them muggles, the non-magic users, and Tim remembers when I went and did it because I did a few lives, I did a few shorts, and I did a wrap up
Yeah, I
and a show
remember
and a
it.
show
I
afterwards.
remember you doing it.
Yeah, it was over by the Scientology building, which is crazy enough as it is. But the whole thing, it wasn't about. I think that the reading with the Hierophant and the upside down, it was a Seven of Swords. I can't remember.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but normally that would be not a good reading. I
What
was
would
told.
you think about it,
Well,
Keith?
was there a
You
question
were
attached
reading it.
to it?
Say again.
Was there a question attached? Was there a question laid out before the cards were popped?
There was no question. Just tell me about me.
Okay, number one, when you take a look at the Hierophant, now I presume the Hierophant was right side up.
Yes.
Okay, you have a very conventional outlook on life. Okay, and if the Seven of Swords was inverted, you will not lie.
Okay, that's the
But
first.
you'll remember the term. The Hierophant was you have a conventional outlook on life for you. Doesn't mean it meshes with everybody else's.
Okay.
You figure you're an everyman, and most people are, and you're very, very, I would not say conservative, but you're careful.
Mm.
And I think that's more in keeping with that reading too. You're not conventional necessarily, but you're quiet about how you go about things.
I will get. I took a picture of it, and it
Okay.
was last year, and it was
It,
2023. So
yeah, it was earlier in this year, I thought, because I've
maybe,
only been doing this with you since what, about January maybe?
maybe I know it was November. Okay, the thing was held in November.
There you go.
Don't ask me, man. I wasn't there.
November, and I'm gonna just start looking through pictures here because there's a bunch of pictures. But I took a bunch of pictures at the thing, right? I was definitely after that. November. I took a picture of Amy in one of my favorite shirts that she wears. It's the red one with the silver things on the shoulders. I love that one. I don't know
It's like
why.
an epaulette.
No, it's a cutout and it's like laces, but the laces are sparkly silver. Really cool.
Okay. Yeah, it's called a bare shoulder.
Right, but it was only a piece. It wasn't a whole thing. It was just
Yeah.
like this whoosh. Okay, let me scrolling. I did the scrolling song one time too. Now I'm just
Yeah,
letting my mind.
they were handing out cards at the as
Right,
a
little
sort of uh what do you call them, a token.
right, little printed cards
Yeah.
that they made at
Did you
home.
kind of sort of reach in and grab two, and that was your two?
Yep. And I really do the random number thing, and that is what happened. So wait a minute. It was. I'm going through pictures. I'm looking at my Google photos.
Do you
That's why I'm
remember
not.
what card deck was used? Was it the Rider Waite?
Rider Waite. Yeah, I do remember that. It was like a classic, well-known deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You
right
know,
way
Rider.
is the most widely known.
Yeah.
I still use it today.
My first deck I bought when I was about 18 years old because I had autonomy, and uh, I've used same deck for the last 50 years.
Yeah, mine's in the cupboard here.
I've
In the
been known
drawer.
to use others, but that's my go-to.
See, the first deck I got, I got it when I was 16. And to give you an idea how well I was into it, I looked at the deck and I went, Tarot cards. I'm an English major, and they were tarot.
Tarot, huh? Okay. And of course, the pronunciation varies, but I've always used tarot.
Otero is what I call it now, but when I first got them, I called them K-Rock.
Oh,
I had no idea what the heck they were.
no.
But Mom and Dad bought me the original box set.
It's when I was first in craft, your words are all taught to you, of course. And of course, Samhain is spelt Samhain, SAMA or HAIN,
Yes.
and I was told that's how you tell it's a newbie.
They call her Sam
They were right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I got
Found
kicked
it.
out of it because I didn't know
There you are.
at all.
Oh, this is
That's
an
great.
8 of sorts.
That's a very different reading.
Boy,
Yeah.
is it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, the Hierophant. Yeah, the Hierophant was. Wait a minute. Why is it like that? It didn't.
Well,
Maybe
the only
it's
thing you
how
might
it
have done is flipped it.
I think the camera flipped it. So the Hierophant
Well, it
was
might
not
have.
upside down.
Was it
Yeah.
second card or the first?
The first card. No, the Hierophant was upside down. What I was told was I need to stop and get my act together and proceed
Well,
with what I was doing. This is
yeah.
correct. That's what
Because
I
what
was.
you're looking at here is completely off kilter from what I said. What I said still holds with those cards, but right here, it
This
is
will hold
telling
now.
you. It tells you right there, clear as a bell. You're going down a very unconventional, very uncontrolled path, and it's caged you. It's stopping you from being able to grow.
Yeah,
AKA, get your feet on the ground, and you'll be able to move forward.
right. And I don't think this has to do with events in my life. I think it has to do with the event I was at. Like you're in the right neighborhood, but you're in the wrong house. That's why
Ultimately
I was
correct.
saying. That's why I was saying like. And then there were other signs too. Like
Yeah.
I went to do something, right? And they said, "Do you have a question for the tarot? We're taking questions." And I was like, "Well, I need to leave soon, but let's take a question, right? Let's make a question." And they handed out paper. They handed out index cards, and I got an
Right.
index card. And I went to my car and I got a pen, and it was not like one of these, but it was one of them kind of fancy pens you order off of like Vistaprint or something. And it was a clicker, and I went like this, and it just disintegrated in my hand into its parts. Like you are
That's when
not
you
writing
decided.
with this pen.
Yeah, that's when you
It's like
decided
pen.
things had gone so far south you needed out, right?
Right. It was like I don't need any more convincing from the spiritual that this is the wrong place to be, and I don't need to linger. And so my pen
Yeah.
just came apart. It just came apart like I had taken it apart, but it was decent quality. It was a clicker with a thing on it, kind of similar to this one, and it just fell to pieces. I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I don't need any more, and I'm
Now
gonna go
this
ahead, say my goodbyes, and cut out of here."
this is in retrospect because now we have the story. So we really, as far as telling future with that's not necessary. But at the time, you were right. It was telling you to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, like
It was telling you that you're so unconventional that these guys couldn't possibly understand you.
there
And
was a guy.
it was a waste of your time to try to get anybody loosen up enough to talk to you.
Right. There was a guy
Would you
there.
say the same, Keith?
Essentially, yeah. You were in a throttle hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like these guys were too super structured to like let any new information in. But also,
Exactly.
there was a dude there. I'm gonna stop sharing that because I got the pictures up and I found the crop of pictures. I gotta remember the guy's name. He did a small presentation, and Kiki was awesome. He works with. There's a radio show, um, Coast to Coast, right? This guy. Let me. He works with Coast to Coast, and you know what? He didn't have no time for me. I don't recall this guy's name. He is one of the producers. He is very involved in Coast to Coast, has been, and I actually accidentally went up to him and said, "Oh, you're the SOR guy." He's like, "The who? No, I don't work with that show." I'm like, oh, "Whoops." Yeah, he didn't have no
You
time.
bended it right off the bat, huh? No, I'm just having to cover this because they insisted.
This guy had no time for me, and he mentioned the word kismet. Let me tell you, I'm like, and this is right after the pin had happened. I went up to, and he was standing out there, and we're both smoking cigarettes, and I'm like, "Hey, you're that guy, right?" He goes, and I say, "You're the guy that works with SOR, right?" And he's like, "No, no, I'm the guy that works with." I just said
Coast
it.
to coast.
Coast to coast. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, my bad, my bad. I work with SOR," or I told him that. I watch SOR, and I'm gonna get him.
I don't know. At with what Tim was saying about I wouldn't take readings from the cards seriously. Weren't their cards photoshopped? Well, what if they were?
Well, they
But
were
you
random
know,
number.
most psychics, the tarot card is for the person getting the reading. They're not for the psychic.
I was
Just
asked
not.
by a young lass one day. She goes, "What do you actually use the cards for?" And I looked at her and said, "Honestly?" And she goes, "Well, yeah." I says, "I use them to distract you so I can do my job."
Yeah.
Yeah. And another guy come up to me and he goes, "Well, how do I know?" He says, "How do I know that these actually work?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Why don't you go grab a handful of sawdust out of drywall dust out of the back of your truck?" Bear in mind, he was dressed in a suit. Right. I said, "Why don't you grab a handful of drywall dust out of the back of your truck right behind the driver's seat?" "How do you know I drive a truck?" "You don't need the cards, do you?" I went, "No."
Not at all. One of the things about tarot that I find personally is that it will allow me to structure a reading around a thought process so that I can help that person get the guidance that they're looking for.
It organizes plot lines.
Yeah, and
Right.
most days I don't want to hear from the querent at all. I want to do the reading. I don't want to answer questions or anything else until after I've done the main part of the reading. And then we can talk.
Like the one question I always ask my querent is, "Does this make sense?"
Yeah.
That's the one thing I will ask, because from my standpoint, I don't need to understand it.
Yeah.
Right.
After I'm finished, I'll ask something to that effect.
Yeah.
But usually it's, what questions can I answer for you? And then they'll unload. So
I'll be right back, y'all. I gotta go. I've been drinking a lot of coffee and water, so I'll be right back.
all right.
Ghosts.
That's called TMI.
Oh my. So anyway, I think you read a bit differently than I do, but then all psychics are different in those respects.
Oh yeah. No, I remember. I remember I was working at the fair one day, and I'm leaned over the counter. I was just straightening things out, and he looks at me and he goes, "Excuse me." So I looked up. I didn't even stand up. I just looked over at him. I says, "Yeah." He says, "How can I? He says, "I don't want to be rude, but how can I be sure you won't just lie to me to make me feel better?" I looked at him and I said, "Because frankly, sir, I could care less what you say, what you'd like to hear."
Yeah.
And I went back to what I was doing. So he waited a couple of minutes longer and he says, excuse me, I want a reading from. So I'm like, okay, well, sat down, did the reading. At the end of it, I says, can I ask you a personal question? He goes, yeah. I says, why? With 9 other active psychics, why were you so adamant that I do the reading? He says, frankly, he says, when I asked you how I could be sure you wouldn't lie, he says, you dang near told me to flock off and leave you alone. He says, if you're not going to even try and pitch a reading, I'll guarantee you won't lie to do it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, for me, it's simple. I can't remember what I said, so why lie?
Yeah, I mean, you notice that too. I mean, we're so busy giving the reading, we're not recording it in our own brain because the message isn't for us.
No.
You know, it'd be like eavesdropping on a personal phone call.
Which sometimes I don't get options on.
Yeah.
He is back.
He's back. He's back.
I'm back. Oh, and something I just for funsies, I got a new trail camera, the nice one that's out there now by the cemetery, so it's out there, but I still had the old one, and it was still taking pictures because it just wasn't. It's not that great. I've been recording myself. Well, not recording. It doesn't do video. It does stills. So I'm gonna be not the screen, but just me. What it can see is like the screen at this angle, at like that angle, and but it's looking at like all over here, and it may have picked up something. It's gonna be interesting to look through.
What are you hoping to pick up with it? Maybe your ghost that likes to run through there every now and again.
Right?
I'm thinking it'd be nice to see Ituara come in and drop off a pot of gold.
Would that be fun? Although you would have to explain where the hell you got it. That might be cumbersome.
That could be.
It's over there, and it's been watching me this whole show. And see, I thought it'd been watching me for 2 days. Then I realized I forgot to turn it on and put a memory card in it, so it didn't even burn the batteries out. It didn't do nothing. It just was like looking scary, and it doesn't look scary. It looks like thanks Timu, But anyway, getting
I'll
back.
tell you, they got some interesting junk, don't they?
Yeah. You'll be happy to know anything. I don't know if you caught wind, but we've started final edit on the second edition, on the second printing.
Yeah.
Yes. I am so looking forward to this. Because
that will be a great book, because it'll have pictures as well as description and more information overall. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Keith, it wouldn't surprise me at all if someone was to get a copy and go, man, I really like this. Let's take him on as far as publisher. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody come to you saying, would you like to sign here? And
well, I'll tell you, that'll be a short conversation because it'll either go exactly the way I'm looking for it. I've dealt with so many. I'm just literally, I phoned up one. I texted them, said I'm canceling my contract effective immediately. So I get an email back. We want to talk to you about going through the procedure. I'm thinking to myself, the procedure is easy. You're not getting any more money.
Right. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What I meant was, if someone was to buy your book and say, I really like this guy's work, I wonder if he would like to publish through me. But then I don't know anything about the publishing business. It's not my AO. So y'all know much more.
I don't know anything about it. I know nothing about it at all.
What I do know about it, I'm not impressed.
Yeah,
at least from outside looking in, anyway, huh?
Right.
No, from inside looking out, from inside working and trying to work with these people. Really big names. I'm not going to tell you who the names were, but really big names. They were about as useful as a screen door in a submarine, and at least a screen door in a submarine will keep the fish out.
Yeah.
There you go. As far as other forenamed individuals, we will not set ourselves up for additional suing.
Right.
Why do you think I'm not using names?
That's right.
I'm going to look that guy's name up. The guy from Coast to Coast.
From
Coast to Coast.
the one that was coast to coast.
It'll jump out at
You
me.
know, I've been a psychic and a medium for years upon, and you know, it still tickles the hell out of me when I write.
Well, it's definitely not that guy.
That she'll take a little look at that. Storm will.
Yeah. But anyway, trying to stay on topic, right?
How's that
There's
working?
a topic, really? Oh,
Yeah, well, that topic went away.
Did you,
yeah,
did you,
went sideways.
maybe I missed it, but did you actually come up with a topic?
Well, I was talking about visitation, but I was the only reference I have is my own visitation. I can't find this guy. You know what?
Jessica is saying Art Bell. Is that right?
Yeah, Art, the same show, but
Art Bell and Coast to Coast are not the same show.
No, they're not.
no, Art Bell was on Coast to Coast for a while. He hosted it for a long time, but
Yes.
it was different.
Nathan Storm says cool. It's cool.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Because it's Strange Realities Conference, and I'm trying.
Would that be more the main drag of people like that? You think?
Tim Benall. Tim Benall.
Benall.
Yeah, that was the guy's name. I'm looking at his picture up here, and yeah, it was
Okay.
a difficult meeting because he
He's
acted.
probably wondering what he was doing there.
Oh, he was wondering what I was doing there. He thought I was a speaker. I'm like, nah, and he acted like I don't know how I came across to him, but he acted like I should know you. You are interesting. That's how he acted at first. But then it was like, no.
Well, you know,
Then it
and
was like, this loser guy.
some people just, you know, they got the drill. They understand the vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he was mixed up in the business part of it, right?
Yeah.
News editor for Coast to Coast AM. Okay. Yeah, I see him on, and he was wearing the same suit and hat and tie as he was in that picture that I took on his. But yeah, I think that reading was not about my life, but about like the right here and now. Because what have I always focused on? The here and the now, not the past, not the future, not the what I can't see, but the now. What's right in front of you? What can you deal with?
Yeah, and your guide was right there saying, dude, are you going to listen to me or am I going to have to get mean with you?
Yeah, I'm just going to break your pen apart for you. And I was like, message received. You know, these people, they were all selling books. And I did buy a few books. I think I bought Kiki's book. And who was that person? She was so cool. I don't have her books here. I got two shelves. The other one's in the other room. Hold on. Let me see.
I remember there being at least one young lady who
Yeah,
is very, very nice with you.
yeah, there was her, and she said, "I'll go on your show anytime." Never had a chance, right? And she was on the right path. Kiki was on the right path. I think her name was. Okay, hold on. Let me just go look at some titles.
Okay. So I'm really looking forward to you coming out and visiting with Storm and I.
It's going to be interesting. I've been thinking about whether or not to try and do a show down there, and I don't think it's. I mean, we could do it, but it will interrupt everything else.
Yeah, I could. I mean, you'll be here for a couple of days. We might be able to slide one in.
We
You know.
might be, but I'm thinking it's taking a couple of weeks off is not going to kill anybody and could rejuvenate a whole lot.
Yeah, it's true. Storm showed me a picture you sent him, and of you and your fiance. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say that. There you go.
Well, I'll read that.
What was her
Mallory
Mallory
Oh,
Sawinski.
Mallory. Oh, Sawinski.
Kowinski?
Yeah, making friends
Okay.
with Joe.
Okay.
This
There
was.
you go.
Yeah, there's a
I bought
different
the
type of Joe.
spread. Yeah, I bought the spread, but this was what was on topic. The other ones are in a box somewhere. I mean, hats off. She was one of the nicest. Her and Kiki were the nicest people up there to me, and I think they had their quantum link turned way tuned in. I was like, that's cool.
She might be a fun interview for you.
Yeah, she might.
She would have a contact in the book.
Yeah, I can get in touch with her. I've been a follower. She does Instagram, so
Oh,
I've been
okay.
a follower, and I will. I'm gonna put link. It will be in the description after the show.
Yeah. You've got all these fabulous tools. Don't sit on your hands.
And she was so nice to talk to. Just a a nice person, just
Yeah.
someone who is just high good vibration. Same with Kiki, except Kiki hadn't had much sleep or anything to eat, so she was kind of in a way at the moment. But she got better.
That's
Yeah,
hangry.
when I walked up to the ticket person and said, "Here's downloadable tickets nowadays," I was like, "I got my
Yeah.
ticket in. Hey," and I said, and I am kind of a local investigator. She ushered me to the host of the show, and I don't know why. And I told him, I'm like, his name is Adam something, right? I said, it's great to meet you, but I really don't know why she brought me over here. I do local spiritual stuff, and I know where a couple of examples. The water temple is a good one, and the cemetery and the church and the historical monuments, and well, everything's haunted. He knows it. He's from here. Everything's haunted.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was like, "Oh, okay, well, nice to meet
Tennessee's
you."
one of the oldest parts of the country.
It was a first colony. It wasn't a 13, I don't think. Well,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was not. No, it wasn't.
Take it from a history buff. It wasn't. The coastal colonies would have been first, but it was
Right.
one of the frontiers that was first explored. Daniel Boone comes to mind. So does Davy Crockett.
Admitted to the Union on June 1st, 1796 as the 16th state. But that's not when Tennessee was Tennessee. That's when it was admitted to the Union, not when it was created.
No, Tennessee's been here all along, of course, but the actual province, so to speak, the state itself didn't get created until that date. But it had been part of the unexplored wilderness.
Yeah.
And little by little, it became more and more populated, of course. Not as quickly as, I want to say Ohio was after that in exploration.
I'm not sure.
But during the same period of time, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee were all being explored terrifically. I don't think Pennsylvania was even one of the original colonies,
I'm not
although
sure.
it was definitely in the Revolutionary War.
I will, I'm going to show a picture right now that I am. This is Kiki Dombrowski, and I was not doing videos because they were doing their own video and don't want to get sued. So this is her. I'm going to bring it up. This is her, Kiki Dombrowski. She was awesome. She was look at that smile. She's just so upbeat and friendly, and she was very approachable and not scary at all. She was doing paganism and like good witchcraft. That's what she was doing.
Awesome.
She is so cool. Ever since I met her, and I've been to that thing twice, and she was at both, and she's just so nice. And same thing with Mallory.
She's very
Just
much
nice.
a genuine person.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'd be a fun interview too.
She would be. And let me see here. I'm going to get up Mallory because she was up there too. I just got to find her picture. I'm looking. Yeah, there was I only took a handful of pictures. And
Nathan, I'm going to just go away from here for a second. I have got to blow my nose.
Okay. Well,
I won't be long.
I didn't leave. I just wanted to go over and check to find out why I'm getting dizzy, but I now know.
Why are you getting dizzy, Keith?
I'm working on 3 hours of sleep.
Well, Keith, if you got to go, it's okay. Don't push yourself for me.
Oh no, I push myself for me.
All right. Well, you have put in a great amount of effort into this show, and if you're getting shaky, you got to sleep. You got to sleep. You got to take breaks.
Oh, and that was what we're trying to figure out. You see, the problem is I go to sleep before I'm actually ready to go to sleep. I wake up an hour later anyway.
Okay. Well, I don't want you having a break.
It's just a curiosity thing on my part.
Okay.
But no, the funny thing with what you were talking about today, I don't know about the ones you were saying were close to the 5 foot mark, but the little guys, young zetas are speckled. But when you said the adults were speckled,
well, the speckle they had patterns on them, and they had groups of. Some of them didn't, right? But it's so fuzzy. It's hard to remember. I remember most strikingly one with like chest, belly, thighs, calves, and like stripes of them going into a bigger group, a little group, stripe, bigger group, little group of the speckles or spots. And they were all, I think I don't remember how tall this particular one was, but yeah.
Do you recall whether they looked like your traditional grays or if there was something odd about them?
They did not look. The one person looked like a traditional gray. These people, they didn't look that way. They were like I said, from 2 foot about to maybe 5, 6 feet. And they were skinny, but not skinny like a gray would be skinny. Skinny like a skinny person would be skinny. And built that way, not due to effects of drugs or something, right? And
no, I know what you're referring to. I came across the name of something Book 2. That book one. That's book 2. I came across when I was going through my my notes. Right, I came across something that just threw me for a loop. I'm looking for a name.
Well, let's see.
Oh, okay, that's what that fit to. I came across the name. I couldn't remember where it fit. Turns out I had it sitting right where I needed, but it's not what I was thinking it was.
Okay. Well, what did you come up with?
Somebody asked me quite some time ago about who the albino reptilians were.
All right.
And at the time I told them I had it somewhere in my notes, but I couldn't remember what the heck it was. Like I knew I had the march. But I came across it and I'm going like, okay, now I know who they are. Okay. But it's got nothing to do with the guys you're dealing with, because let's face it, we're not talking the albinos.
No. No. But that's the description. The best description I can give is they were about, I want to say, under my height, up to my height, maybe a little taller, but everybody was sitting. There was no standing people. The only one person standing was me and the gray dude. And he did look like your typical gray, what Hollywood says and what the TV, this guy, that guy. He did look like
that. Typical gray.
But these other people did not. They had eyes, pupils like ours, just large, and maybe their eyes were a little bit slanted, but I can't remember. I don't remember any hair. I remember all in the same kind of range of skin color, but not a gray, not from paper white to shades of brown, but very light.
Well, here's the neat little part there. I'm actually putting together a list that will be in Race of the World's first volume, second printing. There are that I've seen, and this is what I'm going through the notes looking for. There are at least 15 different races of grays that I've seen. And they are all they all have various different appearances.
That sounds like a different book altogether, doesn't it?
Well, somebody took a look at the amount of information and went, you can write a book on each one of these, or more to the point, a book left.
Well, it's worth the concept. I mean, there's 15 races you could address in a book about size of one of your dream books.
Yeah.
Concept.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what I was thinking of at this point was simply putting the different names, because the thing with the reticulans is each one has a different configuration. Mildly, they still have certain qualities that are the same. But it's like if you take a look at a human, Africans, Caucasians, Orientals look markedly different, but they're still human.
Right.
It's the same thing.
And various subsets of those.
Yeah.
And there are, it's like the Chinese look down on different Chinese as being a different caste, of course.
Yeah.
And actually, the United States pulls the same thing. But, there's a lot of different kinds of human beings.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys were not identical. The people sitting around, they were not identical. They were not.
You were likely looking at a group, a mixed group of people.
Yeah, and
bear in mind the way the reticulans break it down. is it's not a case of you look like this, but you're of this race. And therefore, none of the species, but you're of this race. So your inclination or your strength is like with the Zetas. Their strength is in the sciences. Okay. They are the ones that are correction. Their strength is in the it is in sciences, but it's in the hybridization, the really high medical sciences. Okay. If you look at the radar reticulans, you're looking at agricultural phenomena. Right. But they are more brown skinned and squared off. I.e., if you take a like your face is oval. Yours is. Okay. Some people's faces are you almost have a block cut.
Right.
Right. Those are your radars. Those are your agricultural phenomena.
Okay. Yeah, no, that guy I saw in Indiana with the blocky looking head and the strange looking body. That guy.
That was a radar.
That was a really cool encounter sighting, whatever, right? That was so cool. And hanging out with her I guess her hanging out with her buddy, the skinny one that had to learn how to walk. That was really cool. And I'm not gonna even say it's weird. It was just cool. Of course, everything is weird, but this was just cool.
Oh. Hold that thought for half a second.
Okay. I will go ahead and mute your mic till you get back. Okay.
It's interesting what Tim is saying here.
Right. That's what I'm bringing up right now. I used to have this dream where I was 16. When I was 16, where the Greys bioengineered hybridized humans with blood red hair and pheromones super jacked up. Yeah, you know what? That's okay. You said pheromones. And that's like a trigger. That's a trigger. Okay, that is a human bio thing.
Yeah, it's the thing.
You know, and I figured out that they were using pheromones on me. Okay, or mine or theirs or whatever. Or
maybe both.
In the air. I don't know. But it was
they would bioengineer it that way. They'd be manufacturing their own, and you'd find that pretty much irresistible.
Right. Just like there was a guy.
If you were in a half a drug situation.
Right. There was a guy who I can look this guy up. He was on a UFO Garage. And they're a way different show than most shows.
Okay. I don't think I've heard them. Well, you know, with what we're discussing there, you know, I'm wondering, you know, they had different marking on them. Was it truly marking, or was it, you know, maybe the site of injections or something like that?
Well, no, I don't know about that. That would have been. I mean,
that was a heck of a detail to ask.
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't sound right to me. What I believe Aussie said, like leopard spots. Okay, Keith is back. Your mic is back on. Aussie said leopard spots, and it was more like a leopard spot in patterns and patches, but not leopard spots. You know?
And speaking of Aussie, hey, we're really glad that you came by, Aussie. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Aussie. Have a good rest of the night, day. I think it's daytime for you. Thanks for coming by the Quantum Show. You are definitely quantum. Okay, David Huggins. That's the guy who he makes these paintings. And it started when he was 17 years old, and this is in, I think, the 60s. Kara Weisenstein is says that that's his alien. And this is from Vice. I'm not going to show it. I'll just read it all because I don't want to. This is not really kosher. When he was 17, he says he encountered his extraterrestrial. And I remember the interview that he went on, and when he was taken back up, and it was over like that. It wasn't some kind of drawn out teenage fantasy. It was like over like that. And he paints his ideas of it. And yeah, it's an embarrassing thing to talk about, right? He's 74 now, so when he was 17 or 74, and this is from when?
About 60 years ahead.
74 in 8, so 6 years ago, so he's 81 right now. Is that right? 74?
80.
80. He's 80, right.
Okay.
At the time of this article from link will be in the description after the show. But I'm not going to bring it up. But David Huggins is his name, and he said that he had an encounter. It was he lost his virginity at age 17, and I don't know when that would have been.
Well, if he's aging now, it would have been like quite a ways back.
Yeah, 1961. I'm reading it. And Georgia. But he had been seeing things since he was 8 years old. Yeah, and he describes kind of what I described. Over like that, it was like no kind of fantasy. There was nothing awesome about it. It was just a thing.
No, and that by itself will tell you more than anything else.
I have a comparative story. Yeah, and I didn't know about this guy until like a couple of years ago, and this happened years and years ago. My thing. Yeah, this will be in the description afterwards. So yeah, I've got some resources to put in there.
Well, I would love to say, but like I just finished telling you, Nathan, 3 hours of sleep is apparently not enough to operate on.
Right. Well,
it's
all good. Thank you for coming on the panel and discussing this with me. I do appreciate it. I value your input because you've got more experience with this than I do. You know, I'll talk to you ghosts and spirits and guides and cemeteries all day long.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when I've got this much UFO experience, dots and this, and the guys in Indiana, and that's it. Well,
yeah,
a couple little things.
Not the problem, Nathan.
Well, but thank you, Keith. Thanks for coming to the Quantum Show. I appreciate you being here. Everybody loves you. You have a good rest of the night, okay?
You too. Take care. Nightly.
Alrighty then.
Oh, he's terrific when he's on.
And I'm just editing the notes for the show later. So I need Kiki Dombrowski. Perfect.
Yeah, if you get a hold of her, I think she'd be a terrific interview.
Her and Mallory, yeah. Kiki Dombrowski. She was so nice. I mean, I just can't get over how friendly she was. I shouldn't be doing this during the show, but here I am. And let's see.
We're getting towards the end of the show here. We're about 10 minutes out.
Mallory.
Almost time for the food section.
Where are the pancakes?
I don't know. Storm has done some interesting things cooking this week, and very, very different, kinds of things. It's one was pizza that made with French bread, and just a whole lot of very fresh vegetables. It was very good, very, very good.
I haven't done anything
Vermont,
like that.
Vermont. What is Vermont?
Let me. I'm coming back. I don't know. I don't know what in reference to what, Tim. But yeah, I was expecting more people to come on the show, but that's okay. Yeah, you know what? Now that it's the last few minutes and Keith is accounted for, and home of pancakes and maple syrup.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, seriously. Oh, okay, sure. Now I get it.
Okay.
Should be starting craving pancakes and end up at IHOP tonight.
We got 10 or so minutes left before I, end my time slot, but doesn't matter. Just trying to keep structure. Fear mongering and excitable and things like that. You know, I will discuss any topic that won't get me booted off of YouTube. But when it comes to things like, uh, okay, we have discussed all these things in the context of how ridiculous it sounds and misdirection of it to, but I will not do no kind of fear mongering here. It's not going to happen. There's plenty of other places that do that. I don't need that. If you have any, oh my God moments, we can discuss them, but not from that context, not from that perspective. Because we are literally the light side over here. And we, all the people, all of us, we're the ones the dark side don't like. Okay. We do things like manifest against that kind of stuff. We
Right.
preach compassion and self enlightenment and enlightenment to others. Not, oh my God, they're trying to take us over, because they're not. They literally cannot, because if they could have, they would have. And I'm talking humans now, okay?
Oh yeah, and a lot longer ago.
Right. And I'm not right. It wouldn't be coming up just now. We have the internet, you know. No,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
to a lot of people, they love that kind of stuff. It turns something on in their brains, and I ain't gonna do it. Right? That's like muggles. Muggles do that. The muggles can have it. And I
Well,
will keep my things like slapped ham and top five caught on tape, things like that, and not we're uh, no conquering, uh, no taking over, no. Okay, we will talk about Project Bluebeam because well, we have defenses against stuff like that, and
sure.
things that
And we
the
should be
government.
offering things that are enlightening and uplifting. And
Right,
I don't mean that we should be ignoring something that's blatantly out there.
right. If there's
There's a
definitely
place for it, and this ain't it.
Yeah, there are definitely, you know what? I'll say it like this. There are definitely dark forces at work, but they
Yeah.
don't like us because we are the light forces. We literally are the ones they can't stand to be around, the ones that they are trying to distract from. We're the good guys,
Yeah.
okay? We really are. And I was
Well,
thinking about this all week since
I,
last
I was too, and when you come from a place of fear or anger, you you are not control. Somebody else is,
Right. And
or something else is, and that's not what we're here for. We're here for control. We're here for personal empowerment.
yeah. And remember the gas station?
Yeah.
The problem with the gas station?
Mhm.
Boom.
Awesome.
I didn't have to do anything. Manifested right there. Didn't have to do nothing crazy. And I didn't do anything crazy. I was introspective about it the entire
I
time.
don't know what Tim means by neurodivergent. Neurodivergent means a lot of different things.
Right. Well, I think what he means is we're the ones that think the nice things, the gas station things, right? An oopsie. I didn't get upset.
There's a way
We're
to make a
we're
positive thing out of it. Yeah.
yeah, we're diverging from norm. And if somebody practically gets ripped off and they get told not my problem, they get mad. I didn't get mad. That's divergent behavior. That's deviant. That is a small
And
example.
it's sad because it didn't used to be normal to react in that fashion.
Right.
It
Tim,
really didn't.
yeah, I hope I got is that correct? Is that what you mean? Let me know. Just say yes or no. It's okay. I think I got that right. I refuse fear and anger.
Yeah.
Anger may happen, but I am not an animal.
No, I'm not either. And when someone gets totally upset and angry, I get gone.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, with anger is there, you can't do nothing else
no.
because that
And to do anything else is just to feed into the anger. And I just simply won't.
and okay, Tim is saying yes. Yeah, I got it. I got what he was saying. I understood what he was saying. Okay.
Okay.
And like normal response would be to be upset.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's for
There's
normal
a certain
people.
amount of ego there that says, hey, this is not how it should go. And then your higher self should be talking to you and saying, listen, there's a better way to approach this.
Mm-hmm.
And if there isn't a better way, don't be there. That's one of the first things I've ever taught. Don't be there. It's simple, but it's not cowardly. It means I'm not going to feed this beast. I'm just not
Right.
going to.
I refuse to engage.
Yeah.
But man, but I don't need that kind of stuff. There's another term for it. Fear porn, where it gets
Yeah.
you excited, and I'm more likely to watch a scary movie than listen to that stuff because it is only meant to guide your thoughts.
Well,
I
it feeds a portion of the human being that wants and needs excitement. And if you're bored out of your skull, it's attractive in its
right,
way.
right, exactly. It turns something on in the brain. I say to those people, grab some cheapo VR goggles and ride a virtual roller coaster. You'll get the same effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Except
Or and I'm watching some of that pathological need going on here in my own town. People running red lights, comes to mind, and running them just for the pure devilment of it.
right, just
You know,
the brain chemical burst of
yeah,
oh my god, look at me, I'm doing something wrong. No, not look at me like everybody look at me,
yeah,
but
yeah,
me,
yeah.
look at me. And it's
You
what's
know,
it called?
and when that is involved, you're not in control. It is, and if you're not in control, they win. They
Right.
win. The big
Yeah.
they, whatever they
And
are.
it could be fighting with yourself. It
Mhm.
could be, oh, I am not a follower. I am not a sheep. Watch me run this red light, this stop sign. Watch me chew
Yeah,
this
that's
gum in the
a
store,
bit
whatever,
of it.
you know? And it's not, they don't even have to have a real enemy. It's
Well,
just an idea.
it used to be that teenagers would have a certain level of rebellion, and they would do the risky stuff. Now, risky, not ruthless, and not certainly not in a thought pattern to hurt or kill someone else.
Right. And you know what it
Literally
also is?
takes that chance. Will I
Right.
survive this? Will someone else survive it? When it goes to that place, gee, now what do we do? Because sooner or later, that high is no longer going to be high anymore because the brain will get used to it.
I was just
Now, what do you
about
do?
to go to frequency because we are on like that last week when the gas station thing happened, right?
Yeah.
I felt really good and I was rolling with whatever energy was there. I knew the full moon was happening. So I rolled with it.
That
And
was a
you,
hell of a full moon.
yeah. And
I like what Rachel just said. When I get angry, I ask myself, what is it I'm afraid of?
that's a good, yeah.
You know?
Right.
And that's a really good thought process. What am I afraid of? What do I think I might lose,
Right.
by this situation? Um, what what is it I hope to gain by doing this? And these are logical thought patterns, but they're not being taught anymore, and they need to be.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking, and we all have hit those moments when we have, we're trying to make a point, we're trying to find out a question,
Right.
and I was at the doctor this week after having a hell of a week, anyhow, and I asked a very simple, I thought, question about would this next appointment be involving a certain test. Now, most people on this channel know that I have certain health struggles. And is it going to involve this test? Now, the reason I wanted to know this information was so that I could dress for it, my footwear would be comfortable, and I could get through this test with a minimum of fuss, right? This young receptionist either could not or would not give me the information I asked for and kept repeating her company's policy, which was not what I was inquiring about at all. And finally, I said, I am not being heard. I said, I have now reached my limit I have exceeded the limits of my medication. And I looked at Storm. I said, can you handle this? He says, yes. I said, better than I can. He goes, oh, most definitely. I said, I'm going to go out in the waiting room now before I lose my temper. He goes, that's a great idea. I think you should go. And I did.
Right.
I dropped out the door, and I was getting hot. And finally, he rephrased the question so that this little darling could understand simple English, and got the information I wanted, without a bunch of freaking rhetoric,
Right. Yeah.
And I was good and hot by then, and he smoked a cigarette, and I basically turned on the rock station as high as I could get it. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's not the best way to cope. You know, having somebody else do your work for you, but it seems to work for us.
Teamwork. It's teamwork. We're
Yeah.
all in this together, and you had a close personal uh
Well, I was
operative.
pretty much this close to snatching her by the head of the hair and explaining it to her. You know, and I thought, well, this probably isn't the right way to behave in my doctor's office. You know, she was that frustrating.
Yeah.
But you know, and what worries me most about it is I am not elderly. There's a lot of people go into that office that are, and are agreeing to any damn thing. You know, that worries
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, and then we can get that's another dicey topic that pisses people off, the
Oh,
corruption
yeah.
of the medical fields and big
Yeah. They're
pharma
aware of it
and
too. If you get a good doctor, they're as pissed off about it as you are.
right, and that's something that we have talked about that, but we didn't talk about we need to rebel. We didn't do
Well, I'm
that.
not
We
into
talked about
everybody.
how to navigate and how to deal with stuff on
Yeah.
your own without being freaked out about everything.
Well,
And we
without ending up on the fifth floor memorial, you know.
right. And
Yeah.
also
You
that
know.
that's a topic that gets a lot of people up in arms and
Well,
they
yeah.
use it as fear porn.
Yeah.
Now, we have talked about that. We talk about the context of things. That we didn't bring it up as we need to stop this and we were like, "Hey, you know what happened? And you know what I see happens?" And that's the way we talked about it.
Yeah.
And we covered it. And I did a show and I ran across the picture of it. Uh prison preservation, prison preserve protected earth. That was clickbait. Okay, that was
Well, sure it
totally
was.
clickbait. Huh?
Sure it was.
It was, yeah, it was clickbait. I did it because I was strong about the topic, but not. I immediately said, first of all, it's not a prison. Thanks, clickbait, right, or something like that. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it clickbait, and I said
But it's
we went over it.
those attention grabbers that people are navigating towards, like, ooh, I want to bet they get crazy over there. You
Yeah,
know, I get my little insanity fix here.
yeah,
You know,
and
and you know,
they
most
may
days
have
if I'm insane, somebody has driven me there, and it's taken them a long time to get there.
right, and it. I don't know, but it's seemed the thing to do at the time. I immediately said,
Like,
first of all, not prison, and and if anybody's in prison, it's humans imprisoning humans. That's where we went with that, and I dropped it. I
oh,
dropped it.
you know, on that very, Storm and I have often looked at each other and said, "What the hell did we do to end up here?" You know.
Right?
And I think everybody has had that thought.
Yeah,
But
and
all in all, I mean, in prison, you don't have autonomy to go where you want to go. And we basically do. Even if you want to get on a spaceship, you got the funds to do it. You can do it.
right. No one's holding us down here. We are only us, our
No,
bosses, humans.
humans,
Humans
humans
are back.
enslaving other humans, then
Yeah,
that's going on for millennia.
I mean,
You
there
know,
is a woo alien UFO extraterrestrial link to some of that, but it's in a totally different context. It's not they're using us for meat
yeah.
or slave
Well,
labor to build pyramids
you
on
know,
other planets. What the hell?
if you want clickbait, there's clickbait. You know, I just don't get it. And you know, I've seen plenty of youngsters, you know, just scrolling through stuff, you know, just anything to break the boredom.
Hmm.
You know, you want to break the boredom? Fix yourself.
Right
Fix
there.
your, fix your town. Fix your
We
fix your fix your place of worship.
Yeah, fixing yourself is
Yeah,
that's been
that
called
hurts.
lately shadow work. What are
Yeah.
the bad parts of yourself? And it is ongoing. Once you start, you can't stop. And it's not because you get addicted to the process.
No.
It's once you start, you realize, oh my God, what a jerk. What a jerk I've been.
Yeah.
I don't want
How
that.
many places do I need to work on myself?
Right. I don't want that to be me. I don't want people to remember that about me. I want people to, like, personally, I want people to build statues for me, but but that's just
Yeah, I
me.
don't want that kind of notoriety personally, but
Being a being a jerk won't get that, won't get me there.
it never does. We've ended up, with shadow work in particular, and nobody wants to do it. You can't blame them for it.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant work. It's ugly. It stinks.
It's
And it's you. It's all you.
Yep.
And if you don't fix yourself now, you're going to have to fix you later. Or you're going to live with a real mess on your hands when you're my age.
And I think that's how I got when I started doing it. It was maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, and then all the stuff started happening. All the spirit guides, the
When
cemetery.
it opens up is when you start working on the bad stuff in yourself.
Right, and I start promoting the good stuff and seeing. It's easy to say be good, but what does that actually mean? You got to take it personal. You got to figure it out for yourself. And Tim is saying, talking about clickbait. Chat, bro, I drop clickbait and lightly troll society and culture all the time. Yeah, you shouldn't have to feel guilty the way you express yourself, though sometimes it come with consequence. Yeah, I know. I hear you, bro. You're right.
You cannot. People will try to regulate this into a book or something, by way of, oh, you're working on shadow work. Here's what you need work on.
Right.
Honestly, it's like with me. My temper is probably my worst thing. I get excited and I love to chat. I do. I love to talk. And and that temper though could kill somebody. Now that's really the long and short of it, isn't it? It could break somebody so badly they never stick their head up again.
Yeah, and I have felt that way. I've been on the receiving end of that. It's
Devastating.
not nice. Yeah, and it can be really harsh. But anyway, okay. Anyway, we could go on and on, but it's been over 2 hours. We have done a great show tonight, and
I agree.
I disclosed my experience, and and things will happen. There will be a regression video. Don't know when. Got to figure out all that stuff. But I'm a manifest it into reality because that's what I do.
You've done it. You've done it. I mean, you said, I want to do this thing. And I searched through my thoughts and said, I know someone.
Here we are. And here we are. And I'm going to make it happen. I'll get in touch with this person very soon. And that's going to be one heck of a. It will tell us all what happened because I got nothing. I got what I got. And I want to know more because there's much more that I want to look at. Not just that. That's one of many things I want to look at. But we'll just see what happens. Right. All right, everybody. Rachel, OB2 says, been doing shadow work for 30 years. Was before I ever heard of shadow work. Yep. Sort of like the Dark Night of the Soul. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Dude, something that I heard that makes much, much sense. Okay. It's when you have been pulled all the way back. You can't get any further back. You are in the depths of the dungeon. If you've reached the dungeon, you can reach the absolute heights.
Yep.
Everything. all the way up as far as your mind can conceive it. You know, but you've got to do the work.
Yep, it takes work. But okay, everybody, let's dial it down.
Wow, that was
Calm down. We don't need to get all up in it again. So thanks everybody. This has been the Quantum Show panel discussion. It will be texted to me later. Right, gotcha.
okay.
And thank you for all the participation. Thank you for listening, and thank you for staying subscribed, because this has been a crazy one on all Muggle Land standards.
We appreciate your participation in chat.
Yes.
Might not always get to you, but we appreciate it.
Right. And I know I was ignoring the chat during the first hour mostly. Sorry about that, but I wanted to get it out and spell it out as best I remember before I start being influenced by other things. You know what I mean? Looking at other people's thoughts. So
you can go back to that and say, here's the base reality as I remember it.
Right. And I didn't want to distract myself. I got enough of that. I do that enough. So everybody,
talking to the ADHD queen here.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, OB2, Rachel. Thanks, Renee.
Storm.
Oh, whoops. There's so many of these things. Thanks, Sarah. The chat is waking up. Okay. Yeah, good night, all.
Always good to see you. And Sarah Sanford, Jim. And let's see, I'm rolling backwards here. I think we got everybody. Aussie Tiger, of course.
Yep.
And yeah, we're there.
All right. Well, y'all, I'm going to say I'm pushing buttons. Keep it quantum. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Sunday tomorrow if you're watching live. If not, you're going to be quantum watching in the future. Stay tuned. Thanks for subscribing. All the links in the description. Relevant topic links will be in the description probably tomorrow, the next day. Thanks. Good night, Lynn. Thank you for everything. Don't hang up.
I'm not going to.
Okay. And we're pushing buttons.
Good night, everybody.
Pushing buttons. Good night. Have a good one, everybody.